Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Tuesday, August 19th, 2014, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Well, we have an extended version of the show tonight, so let's get right into it. Let's take a look at what happened last night at the press conference in Ferguson, Missouri, when Joe Biggs and our writer who's off camera, Kit Daniels, confronted Police Captain Ron Johnson.
So, behind you.
Why are First Amendment rights being infringed upon? I'm well aware of the danger. I've spent many years in combat. Why are we being told where we can and can't go?
We do not want to lose another life in this community.
But if you don't like violence, then have up your cops or dress like the military. Why are First Amendment rights being infringed upon? I know the risk involved. Make sure there's some.
Clearly, Captain Johnson has been trained to ignore questions from real reporters, and you saw he was just pointing out and searching for those journalists who have a corporate affiliation, as if the First Amendment says anything about press having specific press badges or $50,000 cameras that let everyone know that they are actually the press. Now, Johnson, of course, failed to address why the police in Missouri had to have paramilitary uniforms, and no other members of the mainstream media pressed him on this issue. And in fact, they rallied around the beefing up of the police state. MSNBC host Ed Schultz suggested on his show last night that police like these here in Ferguson, Missouri, they might have to be, in this military gear in order to deal with the threat posed by anti-government groups.
But the Department of Homeland Security recently came out with a report saying that the biggest threat to our security is here within our own borders. There's a lot of anti-government groups that have propped up in this country, hate groups that have propped up in this country, and law enforcement in respects feels pretty much outgunned, and they want to be prepared.
So apparently, Schultz thinks that it's perfectly reasonable for the police to have armored vehicles and military weapons against some Americans, as long as their political opinions can be skewed as anti-government. Now, this has moved far beyond justice for Mike Brown at this point. What's happening is the media has moved in, and now they're trying to justify the need for all of this heavy military equipment. But the question, it was kind of, why is our government heavily arming the police, to now, why not? Of course they're going to need these equipment to fight against these rioters and these looters and these dangerous people. A CNN anchor today actually called out for water cannons to be used on the protesters in Ferguson.
Talk to us about what police are saying to you, why they're using this strategy, why the use of tear gas, stun grenades, why not perhaps use water cannon? At least it's not going to have the same sort of effect, or maybe something that targets this small group. As you say, this blanket cover of everybody involved, everyone struck by the tear gas.
So viewers, of course, immediately took to Twitter to point out the historical context behind using water hoses on a predominantly African-American crowd there. And you can see all those pictures there, people angrily tweeting out a lot of things there from the 60s when the water hoses were turned on these protesters, peaceful protesters. They're saying, why not just sick the dogs on these protesters? And of course, earlier in the week, they did actually have the dogs out there. And then one person on Twitter pointed out to me and said that I was just being dramatic because, the CNN anchor is British and they use water cannons in protests in Europe against white people, so it's not racist. And perhaps she wasn't meaning to be racist, but first of all, it does not make it okay. Are water cannons a less lethal form of police abuse against peaceful protesters? I wonder if this man feels that way. Dietrich Wagner was blinded after he took the full force of a water cannon during an environmental protest. His eyelids were torn, the lenses of his eyes were damaged, and part of his orbital bone was fractured. This man had his eyeballs ripped out of his face because of the force of the water cannon. And there at that particular event where they were protesting the cutting down of trees, 116 people were injured when the police turned on these water cannons. And of course, they used pepper spray and batons on the crowd as well. But here we have people saying, oh, the water cannons, whatever, it's fine. That's the police should use these things against peaceful protesters. People are protesting in the UK about the rise of tuition. So let's just go ahead and spray them with tear gas. Why are people saying that this is okay? And what the cops are using in abundance in Ferguson is tear gas. Our reporters said that they've got hit with it multiple times on multiple days. Children were being fired upon in tear gas because they were just firing it indiscriminately into the crowd. Now, tear gas is a chemical weapon that is banned for use in war, but apparently it's totally fine to throw it at the crowds there in Ferguson. Despite its ubiquity across the globe and in the United States, tear gas is a chemical agent banned in warfare per the Chemical Weapons Convention of 1993. This was agreements were signed by nearly every nation in the world, including the United States. Now, according to a nerve gas expert at Yale University, tear gases are nerve gases that specifically activate pain-sensing nerves. Now, when used properly in low doses and deployed in open spaces, its effects are more or less harmless. People sneeze, cough, vomit, like our photographer there, and it might even cause temporary blindness. But of course, the symptoms subside. Well, Howard Hu wrote in the Journal of the American Medical Association in '89 that the use of tear gas in civil unrest situations, it demonstrates that they're difficult to control and they're indiscriminate and they're often not used correctly, and that people exposed to high levels of this tear gas, some victims experience heart failure and even death. And of course, it's particularly detrimental to children. And of course, the crowds were complaining there because the cops were firing tear gas into crowds with children. Our reporters can attest to you that tear gas, Jakari Jackson said, it's one of those things that you can definitely check off the bucket list. You don't even need to try and experience it for yourself. It's nothing that you would ever want to experience. But Missouri Governor Jay Nixon says that he was shocked at his department's response to the protesters there in Ferguson.
Yeah, all of us were thunderstruck by the pictures we saw. I mean, the over-militarization, the MRAPs rolling in, the guns pointed at kids in the street. All of that, I think, instead of ratcheting down, brought emotion up. And that's why I made the unique decision to bring in our Highway Patrol, to have a local leader, Captain Johnson, from that community, in that community, which he has been, and to put a much different face on law enforcement there. And I think it has paid off, while respecting and allowing the appropriate First Amendment rights for people to grieve and to speak.
Thunderstruck. The Missouri governor helped Ferguson get the surplus military equipment. Now, we reported yesterday that the particular representative there in Ferguson also voted against disarming, and they wanted these military weapons. Missouri participates in the Department of Defense Excess Property Program. To apply, police chiefs and sheriffs, they have to complete a 1033 application. You can look that online. You see that Nixon signed off on the application. You see his signature at the top of the application there, and it was just revised last month. And it says that the governor of the state of Missouri has designated in writing with an effective date of January to implement this program statewide, as well as conduct management and oversight of this program. So I guess what he was particularly thunderstruck by was what it actually looks like when you give surplus military supplies to the local police departments. They weren't even prepared to use them. And like we've been saying, they were almost salivating at getting an opportunity to use their toys, their new toys, against the peaceful protesters. But it just goes to show how quickly local police can turn a small town into a war zone when you give them weapons of war. And of course, it's a huge wake-up call to all of the states that are participating in this program, an opportunity for them to actually question if these weapons and supplies are being used properly, and if these departments actually need access to these particular weapons of war. Here's what Obama had to say when he was asked if it's proper to militarize the nation's police force.
I think it's probably useful for us to review how the funding has gone, how local law enforcement has used grant dollars to make sure that what they're purchasing is stuff that they actually need, because you know, there is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement, and we don't want those lines blurred. That would be contrary to our traditions.
Now, some representatives say that they are looking into revising that program. There's a need to revise the program, but that's all just a red herring. Just like Governor Nixon saying that he was thunderstruck when he was the one who signed off on the program for his state. Obama saying that they need to maybe take a look at this program and how it's working is a total lie. They are preparing to mow us all down. We've got the documents. We broke this yesterday. The documents are right there. They just released this earlier this year in April. And the key point, one of the key points of the manual says that it considers civil unrest to range from simple, nonviolent protests that address specific issues, like that environmental protest where the guy got his eyeballs ripped out, or this particular protest that's against police abuse. That basically they're saying that these events, harmless, nonviolent protests, and then the ones that can turn into full-scale riots, are places where they could use lethal response directed against unarmed civilians. So this is what they are planning. They're not planning to unarm the police that they just gave all of this military equipment to. That's been their plan all along. We have the documents right here. So it's a total joke that they say they're going to revise it. It's just something to distract us and make it like the protesters there said, Obama, he's helping us. See, he came out and he said that he was doing something about it. And that's what they do. They just say they're going to be looking into the situation. But obviously it's quickly escalated, and support for the peaceful protesters has now quickly turned to people calling for water cannons to be deployed on the rioters and the looters, because that's the whole story has now shifted. Obviously, we do not agree with provocateurs and people throwing Molotov cocktails at the police, endangering the lives of the police force that's there, as well as other citizens around them and their private property. But of course, we've also said from day one that people are being sent into Ferguson to provoke violence and inflame the local citizens. And of course, this will justify martial law. Now, this article is up on Infowars.com. Last week, Fox News reported that the FBI was concerned members of the new Black Panthers are in Ferguson, Missouri, to advocate and promote violence against police. Now, the report was filed on August 13th. There was an alert issued by the St. Louis division of the FBI claiming that the National Chief of Staff of the new Black Panther Party and others traveled to Ferguson to exploit the protests in response to the shooting of Michael Brown. Now, that FBI alert didn't prompt any action by the Justice Department or the Obama administration. And in fact, the new Black Panthers have been caught working directly with the police to control the protesters, to protect the police in some instances. We've got video of that up on Infowars.com, and it's also up on the Alex Jones YouTube channel. We've just got so much footage there just showing these people are working hand in hand. Now, in addition to the probability of provocation by the FBI, the journalist Dave Hodges reports that the Department of Homeland Security may be involved in inciting violence there as well. Now, Hodges wrote on August 15th that a DHS source stated that the DHS is running the Ferguson Police Department, and their actions are designed to antagonize and to provoke the locals to violence. He further stated that he believed that the ultimate goal is to inflame the local citizens to such a point that martial law will be declared. Now, the DHS, according to the source that was cited by Hodges, has inserted agents provocateurs within the new Black Panthers. And of course, that is something that we are seeing happening in Ferguson, which is why, the mainstream media is really focusing on all the violent looters and the rioters, but they also say that people are coming in from other areas. CNN interviewed the new Black Panthers there today saying, we're getting reports that there are some provocateurs coming in from other areas. What say you about that? Basically asking their own to give us the hard facts there about provocateurs.
Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.